Hey you guys, welcome back to some more Corpse Factory. We just got through the prologue, and this is 3 weeks earlier now with Noriko Kurosawa, which I believe is very similar to the name of the girl that screwed us over. So I wonder if they're related in some way? No idea. But we're going to be continuing Chapter 1 right now, and I've never played anything past this point, so hopefully it'll be good. Always like the shape of my eyes. I can be critical about other parts of my body, but I'll never complain about my eyes. With or without makeup, I think they look great. Mother used to tell me I inherited her eyes, my big sister inherited father's eyes. To be honest, I don't see any of father's features in myself or my sister, but I do agree that my eyes are exact replicas of mother's. How did your mother get red eyes, is my question. Mother doesn't see too well anymore, and that might be something I also have to worry about in the future. For now, my eyes are perfect and I couldn't be happier with them. I wear eyeshadow and eyeliner to bring out my best features. Some people tell me I use too much makeup, that I tend to overdo it and make myself look intimidating. Well, I don't really care. I mostly like the way I look, and honestly, how many people can claim the same? Today's morning ritual is the same as any other workday. I'm a slave to the wage and I'm not proud of it. Call me a corporate sellout, but I can't survive without money. My alarm goes off at 6 a.m., the shower is running by 6:05, and I'm dry and dressed by 6:15. I skip breakfast because I'm watching my figure and spend until 6:30 a.m. working on my makeup. I'll say, because this is not the same Kurosawa, right? Like, I'm not, like, totally missing that. She doesn't really look like her, does she? I'm out of my cramped shoebox apartment by 6:45. Sometimes I catch my neighbor returning home from his overnight shift, and if so, I exchange simple pleasantries with him and continue my way. Today there's no sign of my neighbor, so I don't slow down as I descend the stairs and exit the building. Hitting the convenience store for a can of coffee saps another few minutes from each day. I prefer sweet milk coffees, but every now and then I'm in the mood for rich black coffee. Regardless, I never start my day without it. I don't always need the energy boost, but it helps to stop my stomach growling. It's a milk coffee kind of day, so I pay for my favorite brand to get out the store in time. In no time, the canned coffee dives into my handbag as I continue on my way. The train station is always busy in the morning, and it's usually a struggle to navigate my way to the correct platform in time for the 7:12 a.m. train. Today's no different. However, I always make it in time because my routine has been perfected over the last few months. Same train. I board the train bound for Shinjuku. A cursory glance reveals there are no empty seats, so I push through the throng of bodies and stand against the carriage wall. Wherever there are seats available, I like to sit and read, but it's much more common to have to stand and stare at my phone screen like almost everyone else does. Gosh, I feel like that's all we do nowadays is stare at phones. It's like we're like some kind of sheep, you know. We just go to and from work, and that's our life. When I do read, I read the classics: Stoker, Lovecraft, Poe, horror, Western horror. At that is my favorite genre. Well, good, because this is pretty much a Western horror game. And of course, faithful translations into Japanese are as good as it gets. My English isn't nearly strong enough to read those novels in the original language. If I'm stuck staring at my phone screen, I like to stalk people online. Acquaintances or a few friends I have lead such boring lives. Yeah, I can't even stand scrolling through a feed and just reading about other people's lives. It's so boring. I don't understand why people have fun doing that. They post about the most mundane topics all day, every day, acting like they'll shrivel up and die unless they get the attention they seek. Yep, definitely seen a few of those people. I find their dull, tedious lives simply fascinating. From behind the safety of a glass veil, I can fulfill my voyeuristic fetishes and consume as much pointless information as I desire. Okay, that's an interesting way of putting that, but sure, we can go with it. Knowing every mundane tidbit of people's daily lives turns me on. Oh, okay. Sure, go for it, I guess. This morning is the same as any other. I stare down at my phone held in my frail hand. My fingers move of their own accord, scrolling and tapping against the backlit display, pausing, pondering, pouncing on any post or picture that my pupils haven't yet consumed. Standing in the train carriage, packed to the gills with people, I can't help but feel my face getting flushed and my steamy breath escaping my lips. Gosh, everyone in this game so far seems to be a very eccentric person. They're very weird and out there and possibly crazy. So, got that to look forward to, I guess. I'm sure it'll only get better as it goes. I digest post after post, photo after photo, memorizing the comings and goings of every single person on my noise activity feed. I catch my breath getting heavier, my gasps becoming short and sharp. Ray went to the dentist yesterday for a root canal. Mizuno shared some photos from an international vacation. Kawahara objects to owning pets and thinks all animals should be free. I would argue that a lot of pets like being owned by somebody. I mean, my cat loves me. She worships me. So I don't think she would want to be out in the wild. But okay. My cheeks glow crimson. My chest begins rising and falling quickly. I clutch the collar of my shirt, knuckles whitening, knees shaking. A few people in the carriage start to move away from me, but I barely notice them. Yeah, because you're going, frick, what's that gambling show on Netflix? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, she reminds me of her. She looks like her almost a little bit. So, they certainly act the same. Very, very out there. My fingers keep scrolling and I hit the jackpot. A new post from a coworker at my office, Tomoe Watanabe. She's a gal girl, the type with a heavy fake tan, bleached blonde hair, and questionable clothes. I hate her, but I love her post. This morning's update reads, Tomomo just found Disc Corpse Girl website. Oh gosh. Such fake bull. Ahaha, waiting to meet a bitch to try it on. Tomoe just discovered Corpse Girl's website, huh? I feel a slight squeal trying to escape from my throat as my legs threaten to buckle underneath me. I can't take the excitement anymore, but I have to force my phone from my hands and bury it at the bottom of my bag. Deep breaths, Noriko, deep breaths. I need to calm down and control myself. Composure is key. I close my eyes and let a cool breath of air whistle through my slightly parted lips. Feeling a little calmer and no longer ready to explode, I analyze the information I just read. Tomoe wants to try out Corpse Girl's website. That's good. That's very, very good. Rumor has it you can visit the website and request the death of someone you know. How and if the victim dies isn't known to the public. Because of that, some people are pretty quick to dismiss the site as a hoax. I don't know, it seems pretty accurate to me after what we just saw with Emmy. However, the most interesting part isn't how or if the victim dies, or rather what happens to the victim before they die. Supposedly, the victim will receive a photo of their own corpse. How this photo exists before the victim's life is snuffed out isn't public knowledge. But the thought of this phenomena occurring is utterly intriguing. Yeah, she seems like the person who would be very into this, so makes sense. Nevertheless, the site has been gaining popularity lately, at least in certain corners of the internet. Message boards like Noise Channel and other similar sites have picked up on the rumor and like to exaggerate the website's authenticity. The fact that someone like Tomoe, a rather dense, dim-witted individual, has discovered the website means this is actually more well-known than I previously thought. Yeah, she definitely doesn't, I mean, from the description, doesn't seem like someone that would dabble in this kind of website, but sure. Guess it's come mainstream now. It means that people are actually talking about it outside of the internet. Chances are good that Tomoe will want to try it out and request the death of someone in the office, a coworker. Me, perhaps. She hates my guts as much as I hate hers. Okay, finally something exciting is happening in our dull workplace. She's like, yes, I'm going to die.
The next station is Shinjuku. The doors on the right side will open. Please change here for the Chuo line, the Shonan Shinjuku line, the Saikyo line.
As the automated announcement reads through a list of connecting train lines, I get ready to disembark. The train pulls to a stop and I contort my body around the other passengers in an attempt to exit the train. Finally free of the tangled mass of flesh, I hasten my pace and navigate through the labyrinth station. I take the exit closest to my office and settle into a slower walk. I'm on time and I never need to desire to reach the office any earlier than needed. Okay, so she's not the same person as the other Kurosawa, because, like, her name is Kurosawa, right? I'm pretty sure that they both have Kurosawa in their name. Maybe they're related? I don't know. It doesn't take long for the looming office tower to enter my field of vision. 32 stories of office space all crammed into one sleek, slim tower. I mean, that looks like a nice place. I mean, it's a very office-y looking building, but you got, like, this body of water in the front. That's nice. The name Temujin is stamped across the structure in gigantic block letters. If you're looking for this building in Shinjuku, you can't possibly miss it. Temujin carries the title of Japan's third biggest banking corporation. Oh, I'm sorry. Working at a bank. I feel like that would be the most annoying, just tedious job. Just looking through paperwork all day, doing financials. I'm sorry, I'm not like a big numbers guy, but it's a gigantic company with other branches in Kyoto, Osaka, Sapporo, Fukuoka, and a dozen smaller cities I don't even remember. I've worked here for close to 3 months now, not a long time in the grand scheme of things. That said, I'm only a temp, and all I do is data entry. I work on the 14th floor along with about 60 other junior employees, including gal girl Tomoe Watanabe. I don't speak to many of my coworkers, and that's the way I like it. Hey, nothing wrong with being a little bit of an introvert. I'm pretty introverted myself, I would say, which is ironic considering I make videos about myself. But, you know, here I am. When I reach the building, I enter through the giant double sliding doors and find myself in the familiar lobby. Comfortable couches line the walls circling a reception desk. 4 large elevators are tucked away in the nook behind the reception desk. I mean, it looks like a nice enough building to me. It's already busy this morning, though to be fair, the place is packed all the time. I avoid the crowds of sharply dressed business people, feeling a little out of place in my semi-formal shirt and skirt. I mean, as long as you're not breaking dress code, what does it matter? Stepping into a newly opened elevator, I tap my employee ID to a backlit panel and press the button for my floor. The doors close and the elevator begins a smooth ascent. I'm surprised to find that I'm not the only one traveling up. I reach my floor and listen to the soothing chime as the doors open, revealing the open layout office before me. I can't say I've ever found doors opening in an elevator to be soothing, but sure. Well, if you find it soothing, go for it. The static drone of workspace noise fills my ears. I like how they always make noise highlighted, even if they're not talking about the app. Conversation, ringing phones, fingers tapping against keyboards, photocopiers. And they also have just very interesting... I still haven't figured out why they color certain words. I've noticed they color the same words, like girl. Like, they'll always color that one purple, right? Because of Corpse Girl. No idea. Maybe it has to relate to these certain words, because it has photo in it. I think photo or photos is always blue, so I guess photocopiers is blue? I guess that's the logic. Even the steady low hum of the air conditioner contributes to the overall din. I make my way to my desk, stationed in the middle of the floor, surrounded by a dozen other identical desks. Gosh, I would hate that. I hate people, like, looking over me when I'm doing work. Can't do that. As I walk, somebody taps me on the shoulder gently.
Good morning, Kurosawa.
Oh, look at this dude. Shinya Fujikawa, my senior, though he's really only a couple months older than me. This dude looks like he's 14. He looks like he could be a character in SAO that goes to their school. He's worked here for a whole year after taking an internship straight out of senior high school. Okay, so he worked here for a year. He's taken an internship. So let's just say the internship was a year. So he's maybe like 20. He's not an intern anymore, though, and I'm not quite sure of his job title.
Morning, Fujikawa.
I love her voice already. Is Noriko going to be our waifu? Let's find out. Even though she's crazy. Like, they're all crazy, so you gotta pick out of the crazy, which one do you like the best, okay? Like, that's how it's gonna be. I haven't met a single girl character in this yet that isn't crazy, so we'll see. Maybe Emmy's friend, but she knows about the Corpse Girl website, so I'm just gonna assume she's crazy too.
How was your commute this morning?
Fine, same as usual.
That's good to hear. Did you read any of your novels?
He's referring to the horror books I like to read. I can tell from his tone that he doesn't exactly approve of the subject matter. Yeah, he looks a little wimpy to me, but... Known Shinya since junior high. We go way back, but I wouldn't exactly call us friends. However, he is the one that landed me this job, even though it's just a temporary contract. I've always had the feeling that he's a bit sweet on me. I could be way off the mark, though. Yeah, he probably thinks you're his big titty goth girl. Because, I mean, you kind of look the part. Kind of.
Well, I couldn't get a seat on the train today. Too hard to read while standing.
You know, I can respect him, though. Going for the bad girl? Okay. Shoot your shot.
That's a shame. You, still haven't accepted my, friend request. Did you know?
No. Oh, no. He's a simp. No, my guy. Well, I didn't have high hopes for you, but still. I have to fight the urge to roll my eyes. He's a nice guy, but we were connected on noise once before and I had to delete him. Oh, and you've already deleted him once, and he wants back. Oh, such a simp. He's super obsessed with his father's detective work, and all his poster he ever posts about is his assumptions and theories on petty crime cases. Normally I'd find anyone on my friends list fascinating, but here's the thing. Shinya never posts about his personal life, only writes her long-winded rants on boring cases. I think it was supposed to be long-winded, and I said winded. No idea why. It's a far beyond the amount of dullness even I can stand. I fish my phone out of my handbag and pretend that I'm looking at noise.
Oh, how about that? Looks like I don't have any incoming friend requests.
She's trolling him. Quickly dip my phone back into my bag.
How peculiar. Well, I'll try and nudge again later.
Sure, no problem.
Well, anyway, I better get to it. Work hard today, okay?
I feel like he's gonna be important later. He's gonna be one of those characters that seems very unimportant right now, but he'll be important later, especially because he likes to be a detective. This game gave me off a little bit of like a detective murder vibe. Like we gotta figure out what's going on, and we gotta find Corpse Girl and find out who's gonna be murdered next and stop it from happening.
You got it.
Shinya offers a formal bow and goes on his way. Before I can take a step towards my desk, a mocking voice whispers in my ear.
How long are you gonna lead on sweet little Shinya?
Okay. Yeah, that's an outfit. Yep, that's a character. Yep. Most of that looks like what I would imagine her to be, but what is up with your shirt showing so much? Like, do they just not have any dress code rules here? What were you worrying about, Noriko, earlier? You were like, oh, I look a little casual. This woman is literally showing her entire chest. Like, what? I shivered by Tomoe Watanabe lurking right behind me, buzzing around my neck like an irritating mosquito.
That poor boy really has the hots for you. When are you gonna tell him you're a cold-hearted psycho?
Freaking everybody in this game is a cold-hearted psycho from what I'm aware of. But yeah, this woman looks like, let's look at the log. So she looks like an irritating mosquito. This woman looks like the kind of girl that would, like, suck a dude off, and then she's like, oh, well, the difference between me and a mosquito is I don't stop sucking when you hit me. Like, she would be the one to say some cringe cliche line like that.
Listen, I'm not leading him on, and I'm no psycho.
Huh. Sounds like something a real psycho type would say, don't you reckon?
Not wrong, but okay. Of course, this is none other than Gal Girl Tomoe, the very same brain-dead moron who posted this morning about wanting to try Corpse Girl's website. Yeah, I feel like that's totally bad to just throw that out there. She's the kind of person that likes to stir up trouble and instigate conflict. She's also had her vacant eyes on me since the day I first stepped foot in the office. She loves to torment me any chance she gets. Maybe I rubbed her the wrong way somehow, though I'm not sure whatever I did to her. Well, you look kind of goth, or a little bit emo, or something like that. And then she looks like the super preppy, kind of happy girl that probably goes to parties all the time. So I could see you guys being total opposites, and maybe being friends, because you're both psychos, who knows. At least she is more open about it, and you seem to be a little bit more reserved, Noriko, so we'll see. Even though she's a data entry temp like me, she's worked here just a little bit longer than I have. Unfortunately, that means I have to defer to her as a superior in this professional environment. She knows as much and likes to take advantage of the fact as often as possible.
Funny, you know. You don't look like the type of skank to lead on a goody-goody like Shinya.
I told you, I'm not leading him on.
Well, if you're not interested, maybe I'll take him out this weekend and tongue him at the cinema.
I totally knew it. I knew the kind of character she was. 100%. Yep. She's the kind of person to do that.
Gross. Do what you want, but I doubt he's into someone with your, looks.
Oh yeah? What would she know? You think he likes your flat chest, little Miss Gothic Lolita?
Dang, okay. Got some insults. I like it. I know I should shrug off comments such as this, and normally I would, but backing down from Tomoe isn't something I can do easily.
I'll give you a tip. Guys like Shinya are smart, clever. If you want to impress him, don't let him know your head is as full of air as your inflatable breasts.
Bruh. Dang, they got some insults. I like it. They're roasting each other. Flash of crimson lights up Tomoe's face and she looks ready to lash out at me. Oh, there's the psycho face. You already know that's going to show up later. She's going to murder somebody in front of us and then make that face. group of coworkers, juniors like us look over in concern. Tomoe takes a step back from me, but not before signaling a rude gesture with her fingers.
Done here, Noriko. Watch your back.
I'm trembling.
Okay, then. That's certainly an interesting dynamic. Tomoe walks away and I breathe a sigh of relief. If it wasn't for having to deal with her, I wouldn't dread coming to work every day. Just request her death. What's the worst that could happen, right? We saw how well that went last time. Anyways, I wonder what she's planning to test out Corpse Girl's website. Will she try it on me since we just fought? Not really sure if I should be excited or scared. Either way, it'll be definitely fun to find out what happens if she does try the website. I finally reached my desk and take note of the time. I was supposed to start working 5 minutes ago, so I quickly logged into my computer and checked today's task list. It's all standard stuff today. I needed to transfer a few tables of numbers from a spreadsheet onto our company's outline database. When I'm done, I have to run it by a few other people and then commit the changes to the server. The work is dull and repetitive, but my salary isn't bad. On the plus side, I get to wear headphones and listen to music while I work. Oh, that's nice. I dip into my handbag and retrieve my headphones, my phone, a can of milk coffee, and a handful of breath mints. I lay them all out on my desk neatly. I slip my headphones on, plug them into my phone, and hit play on my work playlist. Loud symphonic metal lovingly thrashes my ears as I crack open the can of coffee and take a long sip. You know, that's the kind of music I like to listen to when I'm working too, just heavy metal. Yep. I'm more of like a Sleeping with Sirens or Pierce the Veil kind of person though. I don't really like the super heavy metal, you know?
Okay, let's get started.
I return home to my quiet, cramped apartment after work. And everybody lives super high up, so they're probably all going to get pictures of them falling on the ground and dying, apparently. The place is eerily silent, a stark contrast to the bustling office where I spend my days. Throwing my handbag onto a tiny coffee table, I pick up my laptop and sit on the couch. I lie back and get comfortable, letting the laptop rest on my stomach as it boots up. The welcome screen loads up, so I click a couple of times, open my web browser, and then head to a very specific site saved in my favorites. Wonder which one that could be. Corpse Girl's website. Wow, what a surprise. I would have never saw that coming, right? A cute dancing zombie girl is animated on the top of the page, a peculiar irregularity that always makes me giggle. Yep, still very unfitting. I noticed that the page view counter at the bottom of the site is nearly the same as it was yesterday. There may have been 4 or 5 new visitors. I heave a sigh. Maybe the website isn't quite that well known after all. That begs the question, how did Tomoe discover it? Well, never mind that. My eyes scan the website's content. Request a death. Big bold letters headline the site. The intention couldn't be clearer. Further information on the site is sparse. Brief instructions tell the user to fill in the victim's phone number and upload a photo. Aside from that, there's not much else to mention. It doesn't even ask for a name. After scanning the website, I move my mouse to the browser address bar and click. I type a / after the website's address, then add the word admin. I hit the enter key. A login page presents itself with empty username and password fields waiting to be filled in. So is she trying to log into the website, like as the admin? I'm a little confused here. My fingers tap dance around the keyboard, and within moments I'm presented with a brand new page. A blinking slab of text greets me. 1 new request. Oh, wait, is she the one behind the website? A crooked smile cracks my stony expression. Somebody has requested a death. Somebody has asked me, Corpse Girl, to kill a victim. Oh, okay, so she is Corpse Girl. Interesting. I mean, I guess that's why she's so interested in reading about other people. Yep, definitely a psycho after all. This is where things get exciting. I giggle and feel my cheeks flush red. This is the first request I've had for about a week. I've been logging in every evening, fingers crossed that somebody's elected a new victim for me. Today my wish has come true. I can't help but feel emotional at a time like this. Most people would not get emotional about that, but, you know, sure, okay. My lower lip trembles and I feel tears welling up. I dab the corner of my eyes gently to avoid smudging my makeup. Yeah, you definitely sound like someone who's probably a serial killer. Sure, if you get off to that. As I hover my mouse cursor over the review quest button, a familiar and pleasant tingling sensation surges in my chest, my stomach, my thighs. Okay. I shiver with anticipation, my hot and steamy breath beginning to fog up the laptop screen. Click the button. Okay, so yeah, this was 3 weeks ago, so this wouldn't be Kurosawa. The victim's photo automatically loads up on my screen. The person in front of me is a total stranger, but that's okay. It doesn't change the task set out before me. A woman, rather plain in her early 30s. She's well dressed with minimal makeup. She's not really putting her personality on display. It's a nice photo, better quality than some of the images I received in the past. In fact, the photo looks like a corporate ID picture. I wonder if it was downloaded from a company database or website. Well, the source of the photo doesn't matter. The simple fact of the matter is that somebody's made a request for this person to die. It falls to me to fulfill that quest, and as Corpse Girl, I take the quest very, very seriously. I have the victim's photo and I have her phone number. All I need now is to select a way for her to meet her untimely demise. I previously thought about including an extra field on my website, an option for the user to choose the way they want their victim to die. After all, it would reduce the amount of strain on my creativity if the method was decided for me. Yeah, I'm getting like really big Death Note vibes, like, you know, just writing in the Death Note, like what time and how you want them to die. Very similar. But after careful consideration, I decided against it. Some people are sick, twisted. The cause of death could be far beyond my means and impossible to achieve. Therefore, allowing the user to define the cause of death just isn't feasible. Instead, I'll stick to my current modus operandi. Everything depends on the quality of the victim's photo. If it's detailed and the victim's features are easily distinguishable, then I can be rather creative with the cause of death. Perhaps the victim's face suffers grotesque burns or she has an iron stake thrust through her skull. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's how I would kill somebody. Yeah, totally. However, if the victim's photo is low quality and doesn't provide enough detail to identify the subject, I have to resort to the default cause of death. Huh. So, what are you saying here? How does the picture quality determine the death? Does she have, like, some kind of power? Like, are we actually getting into a Death Note situation? Maybe she slips, or maybe someone stumbles into her and sends her tumbling over a rail. The end result will be always the same, a swift, crushing death from on high. The victim will end up face down on the concrete, completely unrecognizable save for her clothes and accessories. It's not my favorite cause of death, but in some cases it is necessary. Regardless, it is still a valid way to fulfill the request. For now, it's time to get started. I can barely contain my excitement. I squirm against the couch, crossing and uncrossing my legs in a vain attempt to dissipate the heat rising through my body. Taking a deep breath, I try to calm my nerves and get to work. The victim will receive a photo of her own corpse, time-stamped with the date of her death. It's Corpse Girl's signature move. My calling card, if you will. Seeing an image of one's own disfigured corpse is sure to strike fear into one's heart. And it's precisely the reason to take the step to make the victim panic and act rationally. First things first, I save the victim's photo to my laptop's hard drive. I store it in a folder discreetly named System Files. You know, that's probably a better option than homework, but hidden away in the root directory of my operating system, a password encrypted directory, of course. Next, I open my favorite image editing software and load the photo. Looking carefully at the detailed picture, I can see that this will be a work of art. I can really go to town with this request. So I'm assuming she's photoshopping what looks like them dead. But I'm like, how did she get the body in front of Emmy's door? It's a lot of work to go through all this. I minimize the software, open my web browser, and access a particular website. Oh, is she like, I think she's like photoshopping that person onto a body like this. Until she's like, hey, I'm gonna kill this person by throwing them over the ledge. And so she finds someone that like died in a similar situation and photoshops them. The DD, the database of the deceased, also known as the dark web, my secret weapon, the ultimate resource for my work. Interesting. Did y'all look at this note? So you got like choke, asphyxiation. Look down here, the search tags. Aardvark ambush. Okay, that's very oddly specific, but sure. The DD is a collection of countless high-resolution photographs of dead bodies, murder victims, crime scenes, suicides. If somebody has died in one way or another, chances are good that some perverted individual has captured the moment in all its glory. Such valuable images are essential to my work. Using these photos as a database, I can edit my victim's details into the picture. My process is simple. I start by locating the perfect corpse photo. I searched the database in less than 2 minutes. I discovered a disgustingly detailed photo of a woman with her entrails spilling from her stomach. Her face is blue, having suffocated before even having a chance to bleed to death. She's about the same age as my victim. She's of a similar height and build. Finding a photo that specifically suits my victim's features is easy thanks to the DD's excellent catalog of tags and filters. I simply search for the keyword that matches my victim's description and find a corpse that fits. Using this photo as a starting point, I digitally edit my victim's face onto the body. It's not some quick job that even a child can do. It's a painstakingly crafted work of art that would fool even the keenest eye, and something that only a psychopath could accomplish. An hour passes, then 2, then 3. Before I know it, midnight has come and gone, and the work is nearing completion. All that remains is to add the final touches. I like to add specific distinguishable details to the image. Personal item or accessory, clothes, makeup, you name it, I can edit it in. With personal details added, I adjust the lighting and color palette, just slightly enough to make the photo truly unique. If the victim decides to reverse image search the photo and discovers that it's all a forgery, all my work would be for naught. Huh. Yeah, I guess that looks realistic enough. And with that, the masterpiece is complete. A grisly, gruesome, gratuitously gory gift for the soon-to-be departed. The victim will see this photo of a corpse that is, for all intents and purposes, a perfect replica of her own physical form. She'll open the image on her phone, and the life she once knew will crumble to pieces. My lips curl into a satisfied smirk. During my hours of work, my breathing eventually steadied. My excited nerves settled into a zen-like calm. But seeing the finished art piece now, I begin to feel my heart pounding once more. The macabre vision before me is exhilarating. Adrenaline and dopamine surged up my body, giving me a sudden head rush of bliss. To say that I'm attracted to the sight of blood and guts would be misleading. No, I'm not into that at all. The excitement stems from the thought of taking control of somebody else's life, dictating their future, controlling their fate. For with the creation of this image, I have taken the victim's life into my own hands, like a puppet master pulling the strings of a marionette. By forging this convincing creation, I will compel the victim to take her own life. Oh, interesting. Okay, so that's how you do it. You want the person to do it themselves, to make it seem like it's an inevitable thing, and that they have to do it themselves, or somebody else is going to do it to them first. Interesting. I don't feel like that would work every time, though. That's right, my own hands need not become stained. The hands of Corpse Girl have never been dirty with the blood of a victim. This is the true nature of my work, carefully crafting corpse photos in such a way to convince the victim that their fate is already sealed, that no matter what they do, they cannot escape the death that awaits them. Alright, I'm going to predict something here then. So, up until this point, the victims always, like, essentially killed themselves, right? Like, that's how she gets them to do it. She builds up this paranoia in them, and eventually it leads them to doing something rash, and they end up dying, right? I have a feeling she's going to do this, and then what's going to change is that people are going to, like, start getting killed, okay? Because obviously, like, this isn't really sustainable. You can't have people just killing themselves. Like, that's just not going to work for every person. Like, they're going to hold themselves up and make sure nothing happens to them, and they're not going to die. But I have a feeling, like, this is going to go further than she imagined. Maybe somebody else out there is going to start killing them for real, and, we'll have to see how this goes. A date so near in the future, a time that has not yet occurred, a fiber of uncertainty carefully interwoven into the image that causes the victim to pause and consider the possibilities. Is this photo from the future? Is this truly my fate? How can I run a future that has been pre-decided? These are the thoughts that run through a victim's mind. Despair and dread flood the senses, overwhelming, and anxiety gives way to calm acceptance. The other scary thing is, like, we have, like, deep fakes now, so you can make, like, videos or pictures that have someone else's face on them. You could probably make something like this in reality and make it very convincing. And it's kind of scary to think that this could actually happen. This is my dead body. This is how I die. Why should I fight it? And when the victim's last vestige of resistance gently breaks like a silk spider web, being torn by a cold breeze, they finally give in. They invite their end. This is the way it will go down for this woman, this complete and total stranger. I'm confident, certain, convinced. It was a sudden spark of inspiration that guided me to fabricating corpse photos about a year ago. I will say one thing I've liked about this game so far, it never wastes time. We have not wasted any time, like, so when we had us going to the office and stuff, we were learning about her the whole time on the train, right? Get into the office, we were introduced to 2 new characters, start learning more about them, learning kind of what they're like, just small interactions, right? We move on. Now we're finding out she's Corpse Girl. Wasted no time hardly with that. Like, we're only, like, not even a couple hours into this game. I will say, I like the pacing a lot. It's really good. I'm excited to see where they're going to go with this, though. Like, how much crazier is this going to get? Because I know there's quite a few characters we haven't met yet. Like, this is going to go downhill. More so than it already is. Because, I mean, the characters are crazy, so crazy things have already started happening. But let's keep finding out. I can never quite recall exactly what it was that spawned the idea. Sometimes I get close to remembering, but the recollection dances at the edge of my mind and slips back into the darkness. Regardless, I ventured down a dark and dangerous path. I built Corpse Girl's website and invited strangers to request the deaths of people they knew. It was a sales tactic, simply a way to encourage users to submit images. I had no intention or means of ending lives. Little did I know of the true power I wielded. I only intended to create corpse photos and send them to people for fun. Interesting. So, I think Emmy kind of theorized that this was like a prank, right? Like, maybe it was just like a prank website, and her friend was wondering that too, like, is this just, you know, just for fun, right? But that's interesting. So it kind of started out that way. A little bit. Wanted to startle and scare some unsuspecting fools. It'd be a lie to claim that I didn't get off on it. The thought of people shrieking in fear at the sight of their own corpse was more than delicious. It sated my budding lust. It filled a dark hole in the depths of my soul and gave me purpose. Sounds like you need a hobby, like a better hobby. Like, you can Photoshop things. Just go on to our memes on Reddit, and you know you'll find people, you know, doing all types of cool Photoshops, right? Or Photoshop battles. I don't know if that's still a thing. I remember people would like get a subject and like make something out of it. You know, you could find ways of using your talents for fun things that will not involve people killing themselves, you know? This is a little bit of a dark hobby. You know, you just need to find something more cheerful and uplifting, right? Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Never in a million years did I dream that one of my corpse photos would result in the death of another human being. I'll never forget her name, Ruri Hatono. 20-something, slim, gorgeous, eyes that took my breath away the moment I gazed upon her portrait. She was the first person to make me feel bad about crafting hoax photos, the only person to make me feel bad about it. But I did it anyways. Corpse Girl never rejects a request. It's my conviction. I forged a beautiful rendition of her death. Thanks to this rather macabre source photos obtained by the database of the deceased, I strung Rory's corpse up in a field like a ghoulish scarecrow. The photo was incredible. It was my 5th or 6th work, the 5th or 6th time a user of Corpse Girl's website requested a death. Ruri Hatono died just hours after receiving the photo. I don't know why. I don't know if she killed herself or if someone murdered her. But I know one thing. Ruri Hatono's body, her real body, was found in a field, hanging like a scarecrow surrounded by crows. Her eyes had been gouged out of her skull and her stiff fingers clutched her phone tightly. According to the news report, her phone displayed a familiar image, the very image I created of her corpse. When I first learned of Ruri's death, I was overcome with varying emotions. I felt sick, elated, disgusted, overjoyed, depressed, aroused. Those are very, very conflicting feelings, okay? You went from disgusted to aroused. Like, okay. Had I somehow caused her death, was Corpse Girl responsible for taking a life? Yes, kind of. I don't think it was you directly killed her, but you made her want to kill herself, or maybe made somebody else want to kill her. Even though my hands weren't stained with blood, I still felt responsible. I don't know if your hands are stained with blood, but you certainly got the splatter of it as it happened. Like, you're covered in it, for sure. A lurid truth descended upon me at that moment. Corpse Girl had the power to end lives, and the more I dwelled on that fact, the more obvious it became to me. I began to feel the power pulsing through my veins, thrumming in my body as my heart pumped and pounded within my chest. I can't explain how the power works. I don't know why I have it. Interesting. So she's saying she has a power. I do like that, like, I don't understand, I guess, the full meaning of why some of these words are colored, but it does certainly highlight them when you look at it like this. Held the power to end lives, power pulsing through my vein, how the power works. But somehow the Corpse Girl photos I can create can compel a victim to end their own life or compel someone else to end it for them. So maybe there is like a supernatural element to it. That's kind of what she's saying. Rory died in the way I envisioned. Her dead body matched the fake corpse photo I painstakingly crafted. I didn't even have to leave the safety and comfort of my apartment to ensure her death. Corpse Girl's power is real, extraordinary, and I vow to exercise that power as frequently as possible. Okay. I will say you are worse than Light, because at least Light chose people at first that he thought were bad. Like, she's just killing anybody that gets requested. Ruri Hatsuno died last year. Since then, I've been chasing that rush, that thrill that comes with snuffing out a soul. It wasn't hard to grow the popularity of Corpse Girl's website after that incident. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it seems like it works, so... Particularly dusk corners of the internet gobbled up the news with enthusiasm, and the site saw an influx of new visitors. And on a few occasions, I've even overheard people in the real world whispering about the mysterious website that lets you request a death. I've crafted Corpse Girl photos for dozens of requests. Each photo is more convincing and realistic than the last thanks to my ever-evolving skills. But none of my recent attempts have been successful. Not a single person has dropped dead since Ruri Hatsuno. I'm beginning to wonder if Corpse Girl's power has fizzled out. Perhaps I've never had any power to begin with. Maybe Ruri's death was simply a fluke, a morbid coincidence. Spent countless hours doubting myself, doubting Corpse Girl. I've tried so hard to replicate that one success. Every time I receive requests, I do the same thing as I did in Ruri Hatsuno's case. I edit the photo of the victim, I create a convincing corpse photo, and I timestamp it with the time of death. I send the photo to the victim, and then I leave the rest up to fate. But nothing ever comes of it. I'm not so delusional to think in normal circumstances a simple photo would be enough to convince someone to kill themselves. Okay, so they are covering that. I was wondering that, like, that's not going to work forever unless there's some kind of supernatural force behind it, or maybe there's someone out there who's, like, fulfilling these requests. I don't know how they would be learning about the photos she's sending, though, because they would have to, like, see that, okay, she just sent a photo of this person, I'm going to go out and kill them. But it's like, how would you know who all these people are? Like, how would you find out their information? So I'm trying to figure out where this mystery is going to happen here. And even if that photo fell into someone else's hands, it wouldn't inspire them to go out and kill the victim, of course not. However, these are no ordinary circumstances. I once activated a power beyond the ken of mortal men. I caused Ruri Hatsuno to die by her own hand, or by the hand of another. I needed to find a way to manifest my power once more, to prove that I, Corpse Girl, have the power of death and destruction on my fingertips. Once a new victim perishes, I know it will pave the way to more and more deaths. My website will gain popularity and become more than just an urban myth. People will live their lives in fear, forever wondering if Corpse Girl is lurking beyond the next text message they receive. Yes, I can see the future I crave so clearly in my mind. I'm close to achieving that goal. I know I am. And when my dream comes true, I can finally... Finally what? The incessant chirping of birds gently kindles the embers of my consciousness. My heavy eyelids open to find my body contorted before me, legs splayed across the couch in the most uncomfortable position I can imagine. I groan and twist my torso, letting my spine pop and crack until the aches in my body drift away. I need to stop falling asleep on the couch. I'm still young, but I can't handle a night away from my comfortable bed. My eyes fall upon my open laptop, lying on its side on the floor. The screen is blank, the battery drained. I briefly panic, hoping against hope that I saved my work before falling asleep. I stumble to my feet and pick up the laptop, then charge towards the power outlet. I think that's the weird thing. Like, they even highlight it when it's not in the same context. Just a power outlet. I plug in and boot up, revitalizing the mechanical beast and feeling a wave of relief as the whirring of the internal fan signified the breath of life. The screen flickers and bathes my eyes in harsh light. My eyes squint against my will and I make out the image before me. Mutilated corpse of my latest victim. Perfection in picture form. The timestamp in the lower corner reads May 27th, 11:07 a.m. Tomorrow's date. The photo is ready to be sent out. If I send it now, the victim will receive it immediately, notice the date, and realize that her death is imminent. It's time to set the wheels of demise in motion. Leaving my laptop at the outlet, I quickly dart into the kitchen. Well, to call it a kitchen is misleading. It's simply a tile layer connected to the living space with a small refrigerator, microwave oven, and a single hot plate. A small stack of drawers nestled next to the fridge, and I pull open the second drawer from the top. Plunging my hand inside it is always an odd sensation. My fingers get buried underneath a dozen cheap plastic flip phones. Okay, so I was just wondering, like, she's using a new number each time then. I grasp one of the phones between my thumb and forefinger and remove it from the drawer. It's a scratched up pink model from 2010 or so. A relic from a time not all that long ago. but that may as well be forgotten. I flip the screen up and turn the device on, relieved to see that the artifact still holds power. But how is she getting a new phone number? I mean, that's not something you just connect to a phone. That's something you gotta get like a SIM card. I mean, I guess that's what she works for, right? To be fair, I charged up all these phones just a few weeks ago, but the fact they retain a charge even after being inactive for so long is a testament to their engineering. I mean, if it's a flip phone or one of those old phones, that thing will last forever. In any shady line of work, these kinds of phones are referred to as burners. Cheap disposable devices are discarded as soon as their purpose is fulfilled. That's true. I acquired them by rather unsavory means, but that's neither here nor there. I use these phones to send out the photos I make. By doing this, I avoid using my personal phone and thus prevent anything from being traced back to me. I mean, they could still trace where the phone, like, sent out a message from, couldn't they? Like, they could trace the general area. I have a feeling that, maybe something like that will happen. We'll see. When a photo has been sent, I keep the burner phone for 24 hours. Just in case the victim sends a reply, I know I'd get a good laugh out of that. That's so terrible. Of course, I don't keep the phone in my purse. I store it in an old shed out in the back of my apartment building. When 24 hours have passed, I remove the phone's SIM card, snap it in half, and discard it with the combustible trash. The phone itself gets smashed and trashed in the dumpsters outside a convenience store. I also delete the photos off my hard drive and clear my internet history. Obviously, I don't even use my own internet connection at home. I leech off the global neighbor's Wi-Fi. He's under the impression I can't afford my own internet connection. Whether or not I convinced him of such is irrelevant, so he's happy to share his connection with me. Gosh, he's probably a simp too. Everyone's just simping for this woman who delights off killing people. Should the police ever try to track my actions, I'll be led straight to my neighbor. I've gone to great lengths to ensure my actions are untraceable. This has all been in anticipation of my inevitable success. Looking down at the pink phone in my hand, I clear my mind and focus on the task before me. The photo is transferred easily from my laptop to the burner phone. Once complete, I open the text messaging app and enter the victim's phone number. I leave the message field blank, but I attach the photo, of course. The victim will receive an empty text message from an unknown number with only an image attached. The message is just about ready to send, but there's one more flourish I'd like to add. I open a particular app I previously downloaded to every burner phone, simply called Number Mask, and it's one of the most ingenious apps I've ever used. The app asks for the number I want to use. I punch in my memorized trademark. Now, when I send a text message, the receiver will see those numbers appear on the caller ID. Not only does it mask the burner's real phone number, but it's an extra calling card to help boost my infamy. I smirk, my thumb hovering over the send message button. This is it. This is going to be my long-awaited victory. The second victim to end up dead. I just know it. This is the stepping stone to my success. The second of many bodies that'll pave the way to my glory. Send the message. Oh boy. Okay, so I'm going to end the video here. I want to find out what ends up happening, but I'll save that for next time. We got quite a bit of information here. Met Tomoe, met Sheen something. I can't remember his name. Hopefully I'll see him a few more times. I'll jog my memory of him a little bit. But so far, interesting. We learned that she's Corpse Girl. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not like incredibly hard to figure out, but you know, I wasn't looking into it too much, so I was pleasantly surprised. And then, let's see, Noriko hasn't had any success since killing Ruri, or having Ruri get killed. We're not really sure how exactly they're dying, if they're just killing themselves or someone's out there killing them. We're gonna have to find out the mystery. I don't know if it's a person or an organization or if it's a superpower. Not sure where they're going with this. I know it's gonna be kind of a mystery thing, but we'll have to see. Very interesting game so far, though. It's very dark, very sinister. Like there's a few moments of lightheartedness, but like hardly any. Like really, that's just me finding the roasts they give each other really funny. But besides that, it's a pretty grim game, a little bit different than what I'm used to playing, but I'm enjoying it, and hopefully I will continue to enjoy it going forward. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you are enjoying it. It's a pretty decent game so far. I really like the art. I think the art's like my favorite by far. Like really good. Like whoever they hired for an artist, fantastic job. Good job, guys. But anyways, guys, I will see you next time. Have a good one.